Helps if I turn on my mic. Again, everybody, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you all joining me here today. Sorry about the hiccup at the beginning. We are here for another stream of the Alpha 40 League. And we should be having some good games here. But while I've got you all here, please don't forget to follow, and you can join me each Tuesday night for my regularly scheduled stream. I stream 3 rounds of Old School Magic with the Northern Paladins as part of the Tuesday Night Gauntlet each and every Tuesday. And you can catch me live at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to follow. Turn on those notifications so that you know when I go live. Now, as you can see today, my co-host is here, and Drew is here with me. So say hi to Drew, everybody, Drew. And all right. So as you can tell from the background, due to some unforeseen circumstances, Drew could not join me in my home today, but he is joining me remotely. So we are still going to have some fun, and we've got some good games of Magic, hopefully, on tap. So how are things with you today, Drew?
I'm doing okay. I apologize for my impromptu setup here, but it's maybe a little different today.
Oh no, it's great. I love that. I love that poster in the background. I actually want to get one of them. So,
Thank you. I love that one too.
all right.
Anyone can let us know if we're having any audio issues or anything sounds kind of strange or anything like that.
Great.
Like
So I want to make sure that we're all coming through okay.
All right.
But better
They
than
said that they
fire,
couldn't
I
hear
think.
you, so I made some adjustments.
We could use the snow
hold
right
on
now
one
in
second.
California.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I heard that didn't, like, it snowed, maybe Colorado was having wildfire, and the snow didn't even, like, barely slowed it down, the snow and rain. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different
Yeah,
setup
but
for us
maybe
today.
that's
So
a rogue fact that's, like, not accurate, because I didn't, like, dig in and read more about it.
Okay. Can everybody hear Drew now?
hello. Testing.
where you are right now.
We moved to Minneapolis.
Okay.
Metro.
All right. It looks like that we can hear Drew. All right. Sorry for the hiccup, everybody. I
All right.
appreciate it. So what we're going to do is
Glad to
we
be
are
here.
going to bring it over to the players. We've got Eric Lynn and Michelangelo Russo. He goes by Angelo, and we will be bringing it here to the players.
Yes, we got Angelo returning, a returning former champ, and Eric Lynn, who I believe is first time in the finals. So kind of nice to have a new matchup here. Just goes to show the kind of variety we have from month to month.
Okay, so I'm going to mute my microphone here in Discord, and Drew's going to do the same, and we are going to go talk to the players in Whereby. So, give me one moment.
What was the point of that? So, yeah.
I totally get it. I'm in real estate as well, so it's definitely changed the dynamics of.
Okay, everybody. We are here today. I appreciate Eric and Angelo joining us today. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Welcome.
And can Twitch chat, can you hear the players?
I think you guys need to say something.
Yeah, well, hi, I'm Michelangelo Russo, here to play. Really excited to meet Eric and play with him today.
Hey, I'm Eric Lynn. Just happy to be playing Alpha 40.
All right.
Hey Eric, how long have you been playing in the league?
This is my third month.
Third month. All right, great. Well, we're very, very happy to have you here in the
Third
finals.
month and making it to the finals.
Yeah,
Now,
nice.
correct me if I'm wrong, you two have not shared your deck list with each other, correct?
No, it's going to be surprised, just like it was in
Okay.
the old days.
Alrighty. Well, surprise is that Drew and I have the deck list, so that we know a little bit about what's going on, although not that much. So,
Yeah, I don't know how to play, so
yeah. All right. So, just one quick thing about Alpha 40. You play with all Alpha cards. It's a 40 card minimum. You play by the rules that were originally in the Alpha rulebook. So that includes whoever plays first also gets to draw first, which is kind of cool. And then mana burn exists, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
lots of it.
Yeah, and then playing the cards is written. So there have been a lot of corrections and a lot of errata over the years when it comes to cards. But if somebody is playing a card that is written differently in Alpha than its more modern counterpart, then we go by what it says in Alpha. So if we do have any kind of issues whatsoever when it comes to rules, then Drew will pop in and he will make the ruling. Normally it's Angelo who does that and confers with Drew, but since Angelo is playing, obviously he can't make a ruling on his own behalf.
Yeah,
So.
generally we try to work together a bit, but yeah.
Yep. There's a number of people involved in the team who are all really very helpful and offer differing perspectives.
So,
Yeah.
gentlemen, best of luck. I hope we have some good games. You guys can change your cameras or do whatever. And Drew and I will mute ourselves here. And let's hope for some good games. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Show off my Legion box. I've got a dice here. It's a D6. Do you want to call odd or even on this die while I roll it?
Sure. I will call.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
So this may or may not be a quick match.
So
We're gonna find out. It just really depends on the variance here in the draws and the opening hands.
Shuffle up, I guess.
I like your playmat, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Dustin did such a great job with the art.
We really like in our community. Super big fan.
Right.
It's got some cool cards. I think my favorite is the Nether Shadow personally. I love that card when I was 15. So it's cool to have it on there.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Totally. Is that a frozen shade way in the background?
Yeah, there's a frozen shade, a couple of frozen shades, and then a hippie. And then the witch guy and Black Knight.
Yeah. You might want to make sure that everybody can hear us over the players, though.
Very cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna set my deck into 3 piles. This is pile number 1, and this is pile number 3. What would you like on top? 1, 2, or 3?
I'll let you pick.
Sure. I'll put 3 on top. What you want the next one? 1 or 2?
Up to you.
Okay, I'll just do it like that. Cool, great. I'll take 2 on top, and then the other 2 doesn't matter.
2 on top, and like that.
Yep, wonderful. Thank you for that. Let's see if we have
Okay.
lands and
So let's try that. All right, so there's a bit of a delay on the audio from Drew, and there might be a bit of a delay on my audio as well because of the fact that we are having a conversation in Discord. So let's turn the players down.
Let's start with.
Yeah, please bear with us, folks. This is the first time we're trying this, where Rich and I are both in separate locations.
Okay. I can't mute the players completely because if the players do have a question, we need to be able to answer that question. So while I would like to, that would be great. All right. So it looks like Eric is on the play, and he started off with Island Go into Angelo Mountain Go, and then Eric went another Island Go, Angelo Mountain Go, and now Eric Lynn has 2 islands and a mountain. So not a lot going on right now. Just some
the dreaded
land
2
go.
islands.
Mountain. Let's try 1, 2, 3, and 4. Jade statue.
Jade statue. Now that's
Jade statue, the ever popular Jade statue, making its 3rd time appearance in just as many streams in a row.
Yeah, it's been seeing a lot of play, which is I mean, it's a cool card. I definitely really like the card. Now, again, I'm not as versed in Alpha 40 as you are, since you're one of the creators of the format. But it's still in old school Magic. It's one of the cards that I really liked. It doesn't seem to see very much play in old school.
Yeah. That Black Vice, I'm pretty sure Angela would have liked to have seen that on turn 1.
Basically, at the start of
All right, so we've got a Black Vice and now a Power Surge out of Angelo. So
At the start. So
yeah.
Mana Burn does exist.
So what's really interesting about Power Surge is the damage is accounted for before the untap phase.
So you basically are forced to position. Use all your mana before the turn starts, or take damage for any that are untapped.
So the nuance there is, for instance, if you were to say run it alongside of like COP Red, they pass the turn to you. It's almost like a sub phase before the untap phase. You can pay 1 for the COP Red, prevent the damage from the Power Surge, but then you get to untap the land that you used to pay it with.
You must
so it's
have,
very subtle.
You must have read my mind, because I was going to ask you if in Alpha 40 it counted as 1 source of damage or if it counted as multiple. So
yeah, that one counts as 1 source of damage. There's a discussion going on with mana barbs right now. Apparently there were some questions on that recently. The format continues to evolve, and we continue to explore more facets of it as time goes, and that's part of what the league has been really good for, is just kind of generating that kind of play data and these interactions.
Sure.
Cards in hand.
And I know you guys have put a timetable that there wouldn't be changes for X amount of time in the league, so that people can try to work out the nuances of the league and of deck construction and things like that, right?
Right. So yeah, we wanted to kind of set the table for a certain period of time where things can kind of stay static, and we can kind of see the things that come up and make decisions from there, rather than constantly trying to turn dials and tweak things. So we've been kind of collecting a list of changes and updates and things like that we want to make. Primarily, we wanted to set that for as far as making any additional restrictions or unrestrictions. But we're also finding some minor wordings that need to be changed in our clarifications document, or some edits that need to be made. Nothing super earth-shattering, I don't think. But yeah, no, we continue to review it, and we collect feedback and data, and we listen to everybody's feedback. I try to weigh it all very, very heavily, because it's a format for all of us, and while I like to see myself as a bit of a steward of it, the last thing I want to do is be like a sole arbiter in any kind of way, and that's why we had set it up as a committee of decision makers that kind of review all these things. But I like to hear everybody's feedback and logical points and information. So that's always very welcome.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that absolutely makes sense too. And I like the approach. You got basically a committee, and then you don't do what happens sometimes in other formats where there's a knee-jerk reaction or even a reaction that is too slow. Now,
Right.
this league came out of necessity basically because of the fact that when money isn't an object, then obviously with all the Moxen and Lotuses you can afford, you can end up playing decks that win on turn one.
Yes, that's very true. Oof. All right, so we got a Sonic Blast and a Lightning Bolt coming in.
But I haven't decided.
So he takes 7 and Eric takes 2. That seems like a fair trade-off.
Yeah, but it looks like Angelo's forking it back.
Oh, wow.
The 13. That's gonna happen. For sure. I think I'm gonna just fork the bolt back at you to put you on 10. Makes sense?
Yes.
Interesting.
And then it's back to your turn. Upkeep.
So yeah, that's a good point, Rich. Yeah, well, number one, when money is no object, that is a very excellent point. And the other thing too is that it's not tremendously like realistic to what Magic really was in '93. People didn't walk around with amounts of Black Lotuses and Moxes and other cards because it just wasn't logistically really possible for the average player in like 99.9% of the situations. There just wasn't that many cards around to be had.
Right.
It's not like it was today where you can just go and buy more cards. So while there was no actual like restrictions, the way that we do have in the league, there was restrictions by the fact that there was just card limitations in general.
Right.
And that kind of self governed it. And so what the league restrictions try to do is to emulate, kind of artificially emulate that.
I take 2.
Right. And one thing too, like when Richard Garfield created the game, he intentionally didn't share the rarities or any kind of card lists or anything like that, so that
Right.
It would be more of a guessing game and a puzzle, so that people could possibly, see cards that they hadn't seen before, which obviously can't happen in Alpha 40 because here we are so many years later. But again, you do your best to emulate this, and I think Alpha 40 definitely captures that essence quite a bit.
No, thank you, Rich. I appreciate that.
It's
no,
an
we
essence that
truly
old
are.
school tries to capture that essence with you don't play proxies, or sometimes when it comes to reprints or whatnot. But the theory is that Alpha 40 is Magic at its purest.
That's a really nice way to put it. Yeah, I mean that's definitely how I feel. I feel it really tries to capture the spirit of kind of the nostalgia that I first experienced when I played in '93, and that was the main attraction of it, and the collecting aspect and the hunt for cards and things like that. Because again, you couldn't just buy singles, you couldn't buy whatever you wanted. It was always a challenge trying to find that one guy who had that one card and try and cajole him into trading it to you and things like that in your LGS. I mean, that's just how it was. And that was a big part of the appeal. And that's what the cards being alpha, really kind of helps to recreate.
I take it.
This is a pretty interesting game considering, I mean, you got cards like Vice and Power Surge in play, and there's a lot of back and forth interaction here. There's a lot of burn, counter spells.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of burn. And then when Angelo told me that he was playing
I
mono
think
red,
we got a
he actually Angelo told me that he did have to beat a deck that has Circle of Protection red in it. Now, and there are no sideboards, so that Circle of Protection was in the main deck, and that was just part of the
Right.
deck. Which is, again, that is something that happened back in 1993, where people played what they had, and if you got used to your play group, and if your play group had somebody who was playing red cards, or you were a white mage, Circles of Protection were a darn good idea. So
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a rules question here. Hang on one second.
Mountain.
So, gentlemen, there was a rules question I think I heard about Jade Statue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it says it can only be a creature during the attack exchange, correct?
Right. Now, and as far as I remember from our discussions in the rules committee, once it's activated, it's already activated. It's not like Mishra's Factory where you can just pump into it 1,000 times.
Yeah, he was asking if he could activate on my turn, and the answer is
Okay. I thought he was
sure.
asking if he could activate it multiple times and use up all his mana. All right.
So yeah, I think So wait, I attack with them, right?
All right, I'm back, Rich. I just wanted to clarify that with them.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Because that's a very valid question with with something like Power Surge out is, can I just sink all my mana into Jade Statue? And,
Right. And if we were playing by modern rules, you'd be able to do that.
Right, correct, exactly. Whereas with Alpha 40 rules, it's you can activate it, but once it's activated, you can't activate it again. Already activated.
I got that counterspell mana up. I think I probably have to.
All right, so what he's doing is he's activating Jade Statue during Angelo's turn on defense. Now, can he do that because it's tapped?
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that.
Because tapped artifacts shut off in Alpha, correct?
Well, for a continuous artifact like a Black Vice or a Howling Mine, I don't think I see an issue with that. But that's an interesting question.
I mean, it's obviously pretty important here because of the fact that
Sounds good.
he gets to use the mana under the Power Surge.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Angelo is willing to allow it, I'm not gonna argue it. If it became a dispute, then yeah, we would have to make a clear
Sure.
call. But
I'm tapped out.
for the moment, I'll file it away in the things to revisit later and discuss.
Ancestral Recall. Such a good card.
It's an amazing card. There's no other way around it. It's probably the best card ever printed in all of Magic.
There are a lot of people who argue still that Black Lotus is the best card, but while Black Lotus gives you that huge burst of mana and also gives you such a tempo advantage, again, and you and I have discussed this in the past, that Black Lotus can end up being card disadvantage if they deal with whatever you cast. So
Right, and a Black Lotus on
huge
turn
upside.
15 when you already have 9 lands in play is not really that great usually.
But that's probably okay. He'll be one.
Whereas Ancestral Recall, you're pretty much never unhappy to see it.
Sounds good.
Declare attack.
I'll be at 2.
All right, so we tapped the Soul Ring there instead of
That's a
using
very
his
interesting
mana.
move.
All right, so he must have something big
Um,
because that is a lot of untapped lands.
I'm wondering if we're going to see another.
do a little gamble here.
Are we going to see another
One,
Sonic Blast?
2, 4 mana.
Maybe a Fireball? Ooh, Brain Geyser for 2.
Go for it.
Oh, he's looking for a Lightning Bolt.
That makes sense.
Wow.
So
Again, with the Brain Geyser and the Ancestral, just like
Brain
we
Geyser
discussed.
and Ancestral on the same turn. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Untap. Upkeep, no damage.
Damage.
Yes, I that's definitely something that we're really looking at making a change with. I'm going to be straight up front. I've been very vocal about it in some of the boards and the forums and on the group. It's strong. It's very strong.
Let's
2, 3, 4.
4.
But we're going to collect more feedback and
Yeah.
comments from players to see
Now,
how they feel.
From a strategic standpoint, I understand Brain Geyser for 2 with the possibility of winning with a Lightning Bolt, but
Yeah.
Brain Geyser for 3 gets you 1 card deeper, taps you out, makes it so that you don't have to take the damage, and you still win, say, on your upkeep or something along those lines.
Yeah,
Because-
but Angelo's sitting there with, 3 cards in hand, plus he was
Right.
going to draw another one. Maybe he was concerned that he was going to take the loss that turn,
Yeah.
Because you
I have 5 cards in hand, 1 damage from.
All right. So he's taking 2 damage on his turn. 1 from the power surge, and then 1 from the
Yep.
vice. So he's down to
And
1.
he survives with 1.
Yep, it literally if I draw
Oh, wow.
Oh, I thought
That
he
was
said-
nice.
okay.
Good.
I guess he did get taken out. All right.
couldn't be closer.
I
I will play, obviously, play draw.
Okay. So that game goes to
That was pretty grueling.
Eric.
Wow.
That was nice.
Very technical game.
One something.
Definitely so.
Okay. I mean,
That's how it is. Razor within margins.
Um,
The odds are pretty good as I was going in to draw that last mountain, but
All right. While they're shuffling up, again, I appreciate everybody joining the stream. My regularly scheduled stream is Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So please don't forget to follow. Turn on those notifications so that you know when I go live. I stream 3 rounds of Old School Magic each and every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern with the Northern Paladins as part of the Tuesday night gauntlet. So if you want to find out more information about the Northern Paladins, Paladin Magic, or even Alpha 40, you can go to northernpaladins.com and you can see some information there. Then you can maybe you can play in one of these events and you can be on stream.
Power Surge is an interesting card. I like playing it against decks that have blue because it forces you to make plays. Granted, if you have statue like you do, technically you're kind of covered one of your bases.
Right.
So yeah.
I was just listening in on the players' conversation. It's always interesting to hear the banter.
There's an argument for mana barbs over it, and I think in that exchange, there definitely it would have been better for me to have a black vice and a mana barbs than
Yeah, Black Vice is just so brutal. Actually, I got absolutely destroyed this month in a match, Rich, to a mono red deck that was running 3 Black Vices and 3 Lightning Bolts, and they get that turn 1 Black Vice out, and then a turn 2, another Vice and a Bolt, and next thing you know, it's before you even get off the ground, you're already pretty beaten down, if not dead, and if you miss any land drops, forget it, and that was kind of
And you know what? Black Vice is obviously better in Alpha 40 than it is even in Old School because of the fact that in Alpha 40, if you play first, you draw first. So even on the play, a Black Vice it can end up being pretty good and do a whole decent chunk of damage.
Yeah.
So Angelo playing mono red, of course, leads with Mountain and then Go, which is to be expected.
Chaos Orb. Such a great card.
It is. And it's something that, he definitely needs in this matchup. And I think that he'll be able to would deal with some things.
And the idea of just throwing around, Alpha Chaos Orbs just seems super fun to me.
So you go with the Old School Magic rule with you choose 1 on resolution, right?
Yeah, for the online play, we needed to institute that because it was the only thing that really made sense.
That makes sense.
Plus, I mean, even with live play, if you didn't have a rule like that, people would just spread their cards all over the table. So it's like 6 one, half dozen the other. I mean, I would have preferred to have it just be whatever cards it touches gets destroyed, but it adds kind of a strange dynamic of like, well, let me just play every game as if they have Chaos Orb, and I'll just use 6 feet of table space for my deck.
That's odd. So here we got the Mana Flare after destroying the land. So they could end up being counterproductive. But I understand that works very well with the Power Gas.
Yeah. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since, Angelo doesn't know what is in Eric's deck. So
True.
The fact that he's running red, though, you would think that Angelo would assume that there's a possibility that a fireball could happen.
Very interested to see what the strategy here is, because I feel like the Mana Flare really gives Eric a huge advantage with counter spells and stuff. Because, like, for instance, now he dropped the Jade Statue and he still has counterspell mana.
Right. And we already saw that he has Brain Geyser. So if we assume that he has
Right.
Fireball, and also that we know that he has Brain Geyser in his deck, that could end up being a whole huge advantage for Eric that won't be something that Angelo can overcome. But if Angelo can do some extra damage, like with a big earthquake, then I guess it's not really going to matter.
I mean, it's an earthquake for 9, so it's going to do damage to both of them, but I'm not sure that I really Seems like an odd play to me, because now he's going to take 3 from the Jade statue.
Right. But just so you know, Drew, Twitch chat loves your dodgeball reference, so thumbs up on that.
It also seems a little counterproductive with Black Vice, because you're giving them more mana to drop lots more cards.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of curious to see how this pans out here. I'm not sure that I would have played it the same way. After, destroying the island, he had 5 mountains. It seemed like he had a huge advantage, and then he gives the Mana Flare.
One left over from island.
Twitch chat, Naira Top Deck says, expect a fork on a Brain Geyser. That would be absolutely amazing for Angelo if he gets to fork the Brain Geyser.
So I'll have one red left. I will lightning bolt you.
Sure, of course. I'm at 8.
Hmm.
And I'll move to combat now.
That's good.
And attack for.
Does mana flow over like that for Jade Statue?
And I have 7 cards. I will pass turn.
Probably can't get no.
Well, he could.
He had a blue leftover and a red leftover, but Jade Statue isn't a creature unless it's in combat. I don't know the wording on the Alpha Jade Statue, so I'm not exactly sure how it works.
He
if
used
you
it
can
for an
reactivate it.
Ancestral. I mean, it could have all taken place in the same, because Ancestral's an instant. So he used Ancestral, he used Lightning Bolt, and he activated Jade Statue. I mean, I think you could do that all at the same time. There may be a nuance there with what phase you were doing it in,
Sure.
had you announced it and such.
I've got 4 cards in hand.
Wheel of Fortune.
I will move the counter.
Of course.
Jade Statue becomes a creature for the duration of the current attack exchange. Can be a creature only during an attack or defense.
2.
Right.
Yeah,
Then
counter
R1.
1.
Go 1.
Yeah, you got it. Sorry.
Why? See, now he's just getting wrecked here with the counter spells.
Yeah.
This is all because of the Mana Flare, I feel like. We'll definitely have to ask what his thought process was originally there.
I mean, if you drew a Power Surge, then that could end up being pretty good for him.
2 to activate Jade Statue. Go into it.
Maybe.
I'm at 2. Sonic Blast for the kill.
Bionic Blast for the kill.
Good match, my man. Good match.
Hey, great games.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was quick.
that was quick. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm very confused by that game.
But yeah.
All right, so let's hop into the room and let's talk to the players.
Well, they got one more game yet.
No, they don't. Eric just won the second game.
Very strong.
Eric just won the match 2-0, correct?
That's all she wrote for this month.
I thought Angela. Okay,
Haven't been
Yeah,
able to
so
manage
let's,
you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so let's pop into the hop in there and let's talk to the players. Gentlemen, that was over pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, it's red deck, so that's what it's supposed to do.
Angela, what happened?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty easy. I didn't draw my land in game 1. Any of those turns, if I drew a single land, he's dead because I can fireball for 1 more in that last turn. He has 1 extra card in hand and a mountain untapped, so he takes 2 damage, Vice, and then Surge. So
I got to ask you about this second game, actually, though. So you destroyed the island, which seemed like a great play.
Yep.
But then you played the Mana Flare, and it seemed like from watching it, the Mana Flare is what cost you the game.
So my whole hand, which you didn't see, was Fireball, Disintegrate, and the Earthquake, which I was gambiting whether or not he'd let it go through because it can go in my favor or against me, depending on the scenario. This deck often can kill itself. He didn't see, obviously, that I have 2 copper tablets in here, and that's another angle for grinding life down quickly. Power Surge is a great card against control because it forces him to play cards. But yeah, in game 2, I destroyed the orb, but then followed up with the destroyed the island with the orb, but followed up with the Mana Flare because he didn't stumble with his land drops. That play was purely for tempo early. If he stumbled on his land drops, then I don't have to play fair. I can just sit back and take my time. But I think I played it. I don't remember what turn now, but
Well, you had 5 mountains in play, and then he had 2 islands and a mountain.
Which is enough. His deck is active at two islands and a mountain. What I really wanted to see was him stick at single mountain, single blue, and then I would just keep building my mana base out, and that'd have been a different story because I had the X spells that I would just keep jamming them out. But nope, it didn't make a difference. If I'm gonna waste my orb early, then I'm ahead on land just a little bit, but yeah, I don't. I need rely on Mana Flare to be able to jam out 7, 8, 9 point fireballs, right?
I gotcha. And how many Mana Flares are you running in there?
I have a single Mana Flare. So
1 Mana Flare. Okay.
Yeah.
So once again, Rich and I talked briefly about it. We see the combo of Ancestral and Brain Guys are putting in work. How did that work out for you this month, Eric?
Oh, absolutely. When I get it, Ancestral is definitely key. Brain Geyser, a lot of times I'm holding on to it until towards the end of the game just because of the mana cost. But, when it works, it still works. That first game, I gambled on the Brain Geyser for 2 to try to draw that Lightning Bolt to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up getting a Fireball and a Shatter instead. At that point, I just thought about burning the Fireball so I wouldn't get the Power Surge and Black Vice damage for 2. But I was afraid he was holding or draw a Shatter for my Jade statue, so I thought I'd hold on to the Fireball instead and just risk it. But that was close.
Yeah, that was one thing I actually missed because I was busy talking to Rich. So game 1 there, Angelo was at 2. You got knocked down to 1, and then what was it that took out Angelo? Because it looked like you didn't draw the Lightning Bolt.
He just could swing. I just scooped because he can swing.
Okay, I got you. That's why. All right. Yeah. You look away for a second, and then that's what happened. It's very fast games.
Yeah. All right. So, Angelo, I've got your deck up on stream now. First of all, again, congratulations on making it this far. Second of all, obviously, you pointed out to me, and the viewers may notice you have 41 cards instead of 40. Now, I know that you have the tendency to play 61 cards in the Tuesday Night Gauntlets as well. So walk us through your strategy for the cards that you played.
Okay, sure, absolutely. So this is the 3rd time I've run this deck, although it's been iterative each time. And I made it to the finals one other time with Kip, but he blew me out with sinkholes that month. But the big changes I made this time was I put in 2 Jade statues, and I took out 1 copper tablet, which we didn't get to see do any work because that's the nature of a best of 3, losing the dice roll, kind of scenario. And of course, I put the nails in the coffin on myself in both games with Power Surge and Mana Flare, which, by the way, that's in line with the strategy and the theming of just like mono red, just going for your throat, doesn't care, right? I have 9 X spells. I believe it's 5 fireballs, 3 disintegrates, and the earthquake for the for the ground sweeping. You saw my fork, which is really just sitting there to hopefully bounce back. A big X spell that's being thrown at my face. Or
that was
Ancestral.
That was a really neat play actually you did there in game 1 with that.
And then, with Vices and Wheel of Fortune, I'm hoping to basically play out if I have like a couple 3X spells left in my hand and I got Wheel of Fortune, but I've got 2 Vices on the table, I'm going to wheel out because I've got plenty to replace them. Yeah, you're right. You notice my 41st card, and it all comes down to just basically like math percentages. Like, okay, do I want to cut 1 more mountain? And the answer is, I actually tend to like to go a little heavier than a little light, and I'm already running, what's just 16 sources. I think is the answer. I think it's 16. Yeah, it's 16 sources. And so I don't want to go fewer land. I don't want to be in that scenario because I rely on being able to jam large X spells. And then also indecisions, like looking at my deck, what card would you say is the weakest card? Probably Meekstone, but in games where it does work, it does a lot of work. So,
yeah. Yeah, in a creatureless game, it's not great, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, using that Jade statue, like that's a way for me to dodge my own power surge at least a little bit, right? At least I can jam
Right.
some mana in it too.
I
But
think the right answer, the answer always is, if you have 41 cards, which card to cut? The answer is always Soul Ring.
oh right, 100%. Yeah, this card does no work in my deck, especially if I don't draw it. So yeah, so that's the teardown. That's the groove. I'll play this again. I don't know. Jade Statue actually didn't do that much work. I think I'd keep one, and I might cut one and put something else in. Maybe a mana
Keep
barbs.
that in mind for any future contenders.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we take a look at Eric's deck,
Yeah.
Rich?
All right, so we got Eric's deck up on stream now. So I see that your counter spells say "I win" on them.
I bought them like that, but I thought it was a interesting addition. Added some character to the deck and the card.
Absolutely.
A little bit of trash talk.
So take
No,
a,
your deck's interesting because it has some variety to it. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what your, I guess, tuning process was or design process was with some of the choices.
Yeah, so really, I want my deck to function without too much mana. I think that my first iteration had some disintegrates. I had more power sinks. In the end, it just felt a little clunky. So I added in more Jade statues. I believe I threw in the Dragon Whelp just so I can be a little bit more aggressive at the same time. So I really, I guess the tuning part for me is I want to balance out the control portion with the attack portion. And, I had more mail days, so this will be a work in progress, but so far it seems to be working.
It's really neat. I mean, the one of, Dragon Whelp, one of Juggernaut, one of Control Magic, like those are got to be cards that probably throw people off when you drop that out of nowhere, in game 2 or game 3.
Yeah, I think before I was running more than one Control Magic, and it just seemed a lot of times it was just sitting in my hand, especially for decks like Angelo's where there was nothing I could do with it.
Right.
But, just keeping one in the deck, it's definitely helped me win some games.
Yeah, Control Magic is extremely powerful because it's a 2-card swing. Not only are you taking from them, but you're giving to yourself, and so it's, in a way, it's better than removal. It's like a Swords of Plowshares, let's say, right?
and in Alpha 40, yeah, I mean, are people playing Tranquility? Are they playing Disenchant? Are they playing Discs? Enchantments just seem like they're so difficult to deal with in Alpha 40.
You definitely see play on Disenchants, and seeing a lot of the meta, the way it's shaping up lately. Enchantment removal, artifact removal it seems like it's becoming more important. So, who knows? Maybe we'll see a little bit of a shift, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Joe Freshwater runs Tranquility, and it wrecks me every time. So,
I mean, Tranquility would have destroyed the deck I've been working on, as you know. So yeah, it just people don't really generally seem to play it. It's in a way it could be considered like a poor man's disc or something along those lines, right? So I mean, it seems like a pretty good card. If a card can get at least 2 for 1, if not more. In some situations, seems like it's probably pretty good in the format, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So there is some thought about swapping out a Shatter or 2 for Steel Artifact as well. But again, that's 4 mana to cast cost, and
right.
Always weighing that back and forth because
it's not an instant.
Right.
So
exactly.
you can't play it on their turn. You might want to leave your mana open for the counter spells, and then if they don't cast anything, you can throw the Shatter at the end of their turn, right? But Steel Artifact, you kind of lock yourself out.
Exactly. So
interesting. Yeah, no, I mean it's really really neat. And one thing I've enjoyed is seeing like the kind of variety in the decks, just in the past 3 months since we've been doing these streams, and it's just always very interesting to see like what can win and how much variance there is. Like decks that you would think that. And not your guys specifically, but like decks that you think would win out of 2 decks, but it just doesn't because one person just happened to draw poorly 2 games in a row, and then that's it. They're knocked out, right? So you're always going to kind of see that sort of variety.
Yeah, we could play the same exact league next month. Like everybody from September could have played it in October, and we'd have a different set of finalists, guaranteed.
Right. Like I had a deck with COP Reds in it, and I lost I got knocked out against a mono red deck. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I couldn't draw it. I didn't draw it, right?
And I had to do that myself, and I'm on mono red. I had to like leverage my artifacts to do the exact same scenario. So yeah, you have to get lucky. So arguably, I got lucky in that matchup. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, it just happens, right? So it's really interesting. Well, thanks so much, guys. Anything else you'd like to add, Rich?
No, I appreciate you guys letting us stream these matches. For those who weren't aware, Eric just moved, so it was an 11th hour thing last night where he's trying to find where his magic cards are and
Oh my
be able to
gosh.
send a deck pick so that we had it for the stream, and put both of us in a little bit of a panic because of it. You see that he's playing without a playmat because of that. So obviously priorities the magic cards first, playmat second. So.
Exactly.
Well, at least he had sleeves.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Right.
But, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you both for allowing us to stream these matches today. It's the third time that I've been able to do this. I'm hoping that we can make this a regular thing. Angelo, congratulations on making it to the finals. And Eric, thank you very much, and congratulations for winning it all this month.
Congratulations on the win.
No.
Thank you.
That's my man.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So with that, I will bid you adieu. Thanks everybody for joining the stream, and please don't forget to follow, turn on those notifications so that you know when I go live, and you can join me each and every week Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for my regularly scheduled stream where I play 3 rounds of old school Magic. So thank you all. I appreciate it, and you all have a good day.